best in every human being. Not. And if you grade children, you got a C, you got a D, you make jealousy and envy. People say to me, excuse me, I know two people from the same environment. One turned out to be a priest, the other a gangster. If environment is everything, how do you get those differences? You get those differences by playing with the youngest child, 4 years old, while the 7-year-old is lower level. You can't play with one kid. This is my youngest kid. You must take the older kid, put him on your lap, and the younger kid and say, this is your baby brother. Never say to a girl, why can't you be like your sister? She puts everything in a place, you leave everything all over the place, I have to pick up after you. Then the sister becomes jealous. That's where jealousy comes from. It comes from poor manipulation of the variables. In human behavior, if you give one child or treat one child as your favorite, you hurt the other children. If you grade children in school, you hurt the other kids. I got an A, what did you get? F, failure, you know. So people have different attitudes. So people that steal, all of us, by the way, are prostitutes in this system. If you sing and you sell toothpaste, you're a prostitute. If you get up and you say, I got just the house you're looking for, you're a prostitute for the establishment. So there's no good or bad people now. We're perfect reflections of the culture we live in. Again, I'm sorry about that. So if you begin to think outside the box, here's what that means. I was told by a Catholic priest who told me there are things beyond the physical, that you're trying to make the world a better place, but there are spiritual aspects. I said, what do you mean by spiritual? You mean you have no locks on your door, and you bring everyone in your home, and you feed the hungry? Oh, no. So the word spiritual is not defined by what you mean by it. A truly spiritual person carries out the teachings of religion or the finest viewpoint they can carry. Now, Jesus never wrote anything. He talked to people. And people said, I think this is what he meant. No, he meant that. So you got all these different things. And then God, let's take God, for example, the old guy sitting up in the clouds who knows everything. He's omnipotent. You don't have to tell him anything. He made every bug, every tree, every galaxy. And then Jesus proceeds to insult him. Here's where he insulted him. Just before they crucified Christ, he looked up and says, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And God said, gee, I didn't know that. So how can you pray to a God? How can you talk to God? You can't even talk to Einstein, most people. And they're always talking to God. They think, due to ego problems, that they're specially selected. The Jews are God's chosen people. The Germans are the master race. You know, all these little egocentric people think that they're put here to lead the world into a better direction. I may get shot, like Martin Luther King. He tries to do something, boom, he gets shot. Now, the people that don't get shot, as a rule, are guys like Hitler. Why don't they get shot? They have a lot of guards around, and they condition everybody in the environment to be strictly Nazis. So the Nazi point of view was to protect the establishment. All money systems, as they begin to collapse and change, they move toward fascism, always. It's part of the history of civilization to move in that direction. The wealthy people try to protect what they have. The people are told that that country is a bad country. They hate America. In a British newspaper called The Telegraph, the CIA or the Pentagon released information which says U.S. intends to bomb 7 countries, nuclear, preemptive strike. In the old days that meant sneak attack. Preemptive strike is a sneak attack. And they named the 7 countries, North Korea, China, Russia. Now, if you do that, they're all going to be building atom bombs. Even if the U.S. intended to do that, to release that was stupid. So that's why a lot of people are building nuclear weapons. Not because they're bad. North Korea is building big armies, rocket ships, everything. So is China. Because we ran those headlines. How stupid can you be? Military people are not right. Military people would be concerned with how do you bridge the difference between nations instead of declare war on them. So we will have a Pentagon in Washington of sociologists, social scientists, who are there to try to bridge the difference between nations. That's the problem. Not killing them, bombing their cities. That's not a solution. That only builds hatred for the future, if you understand what I'm saying. So I am really putting it this way. What will people be like in the future? First, they'll learn about the earth, and they will be brought up not to want to hurt the oceans or the forests or cut them down. So people say to me, will everybody be alike in the society you're talking about? In certain areas, yes. They won't hate anyone of a different color or different religion. They would not want to hurt anyone or kill anyone or rob anyone or hit them on the head and take their money. None of that. They'll be alike in that area. There's nothing the matter with being alike in the same way, if you're sane. Now, unsane means not that you've lost your facilitation. Unsane means you're brought up with artificial values. So most nations are unsane, particularly the leaders. Because if you ask any leader in the British Empire, you say, how would you stop cars from hitting each other? I don't know. How would you prevent forest fires? I don't know. What do you do to prevent earthquake buildings from caving in? I don't know. Who the hell are they then? What are they doing there? They tell you in America, write your congressman. You want women's rights? Write your congressman. What a jackass he is. Congressman doesn't know anything about that. When you fly in an airplane today, I'm a commercial airline, you don't have to write the pilot and say you've been flying at an angle for 3 miles now, straighten up. He knows his business. The navigator, when you go to Hawaii and you see icebergs coming up, you say, I thought we're going to Hawaii. You don't have to write him. He knows navigation. So people that fly airplanes or manage ships, you never have to write the captain of a big liner and say, look, we're going to Hawaii, but I see icebergs. You know, they know their business. Who are these people you have to write to? They must be dummies entirely so. They should be at the forefront of human problems in government and not try to stop you from doing things, but to welcome you on the air. But what they do is manage news. If it doesn't look too good, you don't get it. I've never been on the air except once in America. But in other countries, when we were invited to Turkey, they gave me an hour and a half, and Turkey said, how do we build the first Venus project? Now, they invited us to Vienna. They gave me 7 minutes with a whole bunch of academicians. I couldn't say anything in 7 minutes. And that happened in other countries. So we don't go to any other country unless they give us a chance to present what it is we wish to present. And then you get mad at it, you ask questions, that's the way to do it. But you don't get up and you don't really applaud until the guy gets through. So when the question comes, when you guys ask questions, I ask you not to be polite and to question the hell out of everything I say. And if there's things you don't understand, you have to let me know. Now, how many of you know there are metals today with a memory? It's called shape memory alloys. How many of you saw it in our films?